بعرف قلبك موجوع وإنك خلص تعبان بعرف حرقة الدموع وغصة قلب الحيران بعرف قلبك موجوع.
Today I'm going to be doing some hijab tutorials, and I'm going to be using a chiffon hijab, and I'm going to be showing you my pinning techniques for the way that I avoid using safety pins when I do my hijab, because I just feel like safety pins, generally speaking, will snag your hijab, and if you do have those no snag hijab safety pins, they're pretty big and bulky, and so I just don't like using them. So if I can, I'll avoid it. So I'm going to be using a chiffon hijab, like I said. I'm going to be doing 4 hijab styles and showing you how I put everything together. One of the hijab styles, or a couple of the hijab styles, will be good for special occasions or weddings. A couple of them look pretty professional as well, so I would style my hijab that way if I was going to work or if I was going to school. And then one of them, or actually several of them, would also be good for just casual wear. So I think the styles are pretty versatile. Some are extensions of others, so let's get started. Generally speaking, I only ever use 2 pins. I use 2 straight pins. I use one short one. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty short. And then a longer one, if I even use 2, and sometimes I only use 1. So this is what I do. So I have one shorter side and one longer side. And on some people, wrapping your hijab like this looks fine. I don't think I'm one of those people. So generally what I do is I will fold in the front, and which kind of creates like a peak. And then I will fold it on the sides like that. Here, I'm just going to be looking at the mirror, which is over that way, every now and again, because I'm just using a viewfinder and it's a little bit small. Okay, so I like to make a peak at the front. I think it looks good with my face shape. It's kind of that Turkish-esque style, and I am Turkish, so yeah, bringing out my heritage. Once I have it here, what I do to avoid using a safety pin at the bottom underneath my chin is I take the shorter side and I put it under my chin like this, and then I hold it here with my finger. Then I take this longer side and I put it on top of the shorter one. So now there's like a layer here. And then what I do is I take my shorter pin and I weave it in between, or through kind of the layers, until it's all the way in there. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the end of the pin is right here, the start is right there, and it's weaved together. And you would think that this would A, poke you in the chin, and B, throughout the day, get loose, come out, just like pop out of there. But it really doesn't. And I've been doing this pinning technique for probably a year or 2. And it's always worked for me. I don't think I can think of one instance where it's come out. So I use this over using a safety pin because, like I said, I just feel like safety pins are not practical when you're trying to preserve your hijabs and not have this like huge bulky thing under your chin. So this is what I do. So my first style is one that only requires 1 pin, so it's just this pin. And it's a pretty simple style. All you do is just push this over your shoulder, and this particular hijab has this sequence design, so if it has a design like that, it would be nice to show it here, but you could also show it on the other end. So this is the style I'd probably wear, and I have worn on Eid before. I would wear this to, like, you know, a special event of some kind, like a wedding. This is what it looks like in the back. I don't know if you can see one style. You can, if you want more security, use a safety pin or like a magnet pin and pin these 2 pieces together so that this, if you like bend down or depending on how much movement you're doing, it doesn't fall. But you also don't have to. It also depends on the material. This is a pretty slippery material, but if you're wearing like, you know, a cotton hijab or something like that, you know, you really might not need one. So this is style number 1. Now style number 2, the next thing I'm going to do, it's pretty much an extension of this. I feel like a lot of my hijab styles are just an extension of a different style. So instead of flipping it over my shoulder, I flip it over my head like this, and then this is where my longer pin comes into play. So it's like a long black pin. And I just get these straight pins at like fabric stores. So if you go to like Joann's Fabric or something like that, you can find like these boxes of straight pins. And that's literally what I use for my hijab. Okay, so this is my everyday style. So I would call this a more casual style, depending again on the hijab material that you're wearing. But yeah, so this is my more casual style. That's what it looks like on the side. And then from the back, it creates like a triangle, kind of. Now, style number 3 is going to require a different hijab position. So instead of making a short side and a long side, I'm going to make the 2 sides even. So once you've gotten your ideal position here, you take your short pin again and do the weave thing, like weaving it under my chin. So I take any side. I usually like to use the right side as the underneath part and then the left side as the over part, but it doesn't really matter. So again, I put the 2 layers on top of each other, and then I take my short pin and I weave it. Okay, so this is kind of the base. Now, the first style, I think a lot of people do this style. I would definitely say this is Turkish inspired. I've seen a lot of girls in Turkey when I've been there doing a similar style to this. This one is just put one side over your shoulder and then take the other side and do the same thing. And this is basically the style. So I would wear this. I feel like this is a pretty professional style because of the kind of shorter neck here. And but it's also a pretty elegant style, something you could wear at a wedding. And these 2 pieces in the back, although they're not pinned right now, I usually wouldn't, but especially if it's this kind of slippery material, you could always take a safety pin and pin the 2 sides together so that if you bend down or if you're moving a lot, they don't fall down. But another thing you can do is, if you want it to kind of look more elegant, is pull the part of the wings down. I call these the wings. I don't know what else to call them. This is style number 3. Now, style number 4 is a variation of style number 3. So again, putting this over my shoulder, and then I'm taking this side, and it's sort of like style number 2, I would say. But taking this side over. So now this part is a lot shorter than in style number 2. Sometimes I like having the security of a side, like another side going over my head. It just makes me feel more secure in my hijab. So this is the style. And what happens is you have this sort of like professional over the head look. You also have this side going on, which is a bit more elegant, like over the shoulder kind of thing. You can have one side down, you can have it all the way back. You can also pin this to this piece right here. So you could use a safety pin and pin those together, or like a magnet pin or whatever. Those are my 4 hijab styles with a chiffon hijab. I hope the pinning technique is helpful for people. I think you can't really believe that the pinning technique is not going to poke you and not going to fall out until you try it. For me, it works amazingly. Let me know what you think of this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support, and have a nice day. Bye.
خلاص تعبان، بعرف حرقة الدموع وغصة قلب الحيران، بعرف قلبك موجوع وإنك خلص تعبان